Hello everyone, this is Shorthand Pro. Hope I'm audible to everyone. Please make me clear that I am audible to everyone. क्या मेरी आवाज सबको अच्छे से आ रही है? कमेंट्स में बता दीजिए। तो हम स्टार्ट करते हैं फिर डिक्टेशंस। आई होप आई एम ऑडिबल। क्या मेरी आवाज सबको अच्छे से आ रही है? कमेंट्स में बता दीजिए ताकि हम क्लास स्टार्ट करेंगे। क्या मेरी आवाज सबको अच्छे से आ रही है? ओके, ठीक है। Get yourself ready for the dictation. This dictation comprises of 311 words, and I'll dictate it at a speed of 60 to 65 words per minute. The time will be 5 minutes. And this is a legal dictation. इसमें बहुत सारे legal words है. So get yourself ready for the dictation. The dictation will start after 5 seconds. Start. In a recent constitutional bench hearing before the High Court, the petitioner approached the court under Article 226 of the Constitution, seeking the issuance of a writ of habeas corpus, claiming that his brother was being unlawfully detained by local police authorities without any judicial order or FIR. Stop. The counsel for the petitioner argued that the detention was arbitrary and in violation of the fundamental right to life and personal liberty under Article 21. Stop. Habeas corpus, was invoked to compel the state to produce the detainee before the court and justify the legality of the detention. Stop. Simultaneously, the petitioner also sought a writ of mandamus against the superintendent of police, alleging a failure to act on previous complaints regarding harassment and intimidation by officers under his jurisdiction. Stop. The court observed that mandamus, as a prerogative writ, lies to enforce performance of a public duty by a public authority and directed the officer concerned to file a detailed affidavit explaining his inaction. Stop. Furthermore, the petitioner challenged the legality of a subordinate court's decision that had earlier dismissed a similar play without due consideration of material facts. Stop. To this end, a writ of certiorari was prayed for, to quash the impugned order on grounds of procedural irregularities and denial of natural justice. Stop. The bench emphasized that certiorari is appropriate when a lower tribunal acts in excess of its jurisdiction or fails to adhere to the principles of natural justice. Stop. In another limb of the petition, a quo warranto writ was sought against a senior administrative officer whose appointment was allegedly made in violation of statutory rules. Stop. The petition questioned the authority and legal qualification of the said officer to hold the public office in question. Stop. The court noted that quo warranto serves as a powerful tool to prevent unlawful occupation of public posts and ordered a preliminary inquiry into the appointment process. Stop. End of dictation. आई होप सबको डिक्टेशन अच्छी लगी होगी। इसके बाद हमने एक दो डिक्टेशंस और रखी है आपके लिए। तो दूसरी डिक्टेशन जो होगी वो भी 60 वर्ड्स पर मिनट की होगी। उसके बाद एक और डिक्टेशन मैं आपको प्रोवाइड करूंगा जो होगा 75 वर्ड्स पर मिनट। Before we do another dictation, let me tell you that I want to hear from you कि इस डिक्टेशन में किसी को कोई तकलीफ मत हुई सुनने में, ऑडियो सुनने में, या मेरी प्रोनाउंसिएशन से किसी को कोई प्रॉब्लम तो मत आई। कमेंट्स में आप बता सकते हो। कोई ऐसा वर्ड है जिसमें आपको सुनने में प्रॉब्लम आई, समझ नहीं आया? ठीक है। आर यू रेडी फॉर द अनदर डिक्टेशन? ओके, गेट योर सेल्फ रेडी फॉर द डिक्टेशन। ये जो दूसरी डिक्टेशन मैं आपको प्रोवाइड करूंगा सब रेडी रही लिखने के लिए। ये डिक्टेशन 307 वर्ड्स का होगा और ये जनरल डिक्टेशन है, एडिटोरियल से लिया गया है, आज के एडिटोरियल से। तो इसके लिए रेडी रहो। Be ready for the dictation. The dictation will start after 5 seconds. Start. The editorial and unraveling raises serious concerns about the state of India's criminal justice system in light of the acquittals in the long-drawn Maligaon blast case. Stop. The editorial casts a critical eye on the investigative and prosecutorial failures that led to this outcome, describing them as emblematic of deeper systemic rot. Stop. The article notes that the case suffered from multiple procedural and evidentiary shortcomings, most notably the reliance on circumstantial evidence and the lack of robust forensic backing. Delayed forensic reports, contradictory testimonies, and shifting narratives over the years not only undermined the prosecution's case but also reflected a troubling pattern of investigative bias. From the initial arrests to the prolonged incarceration of the accused without conclusive proof, the editorial underscores how flawed investigation processes can distort justice. Furthermore, the editorial draws attention to the political and ideological interference that often creeps into sensitive cases, thereby weakening institutional neutrality. By highlighting the lack of accountability within investigative agencies and the poor quality of evidence presented in court, the piece emphasizes how such high profile acquittals are not merely legal outcomes but public setbacks. They erode citizens' confidence in law enforcement agencies and the judiciary alike. The Maligon case, which had originally raised expectations of swift and impartial justice, now stands as a stark reminder of how easily justice can be derailed when due process is compromised. The editorial calls for a comprehensive reform of India's investigative framework, greater training, better forensic infrastructure, and most importantly, insulation of probes from political or ideological pressures. It warns that unless institutional integrity is restored, such miscarriages of justice will persist, reinforcing public cynicism and weakening the rule of law. In essence, an unraveling is not just a critique of one failed case, but a broader indictment of the vulnerabilities in India's criminal justice system and an urgent appeal for structural reform. End of dictation. क्या इस डिक्टेशन में किसी को कोई प्रॉब्लम आई मेरी स्पीड में या मेरी प्रोनाउंसिएशन में किसी को कोई प्रॉब्लम आई आप कमेंट्स में बता सकते हो ठीक है तो अब मैं एक और डिक्टेशन आपको प्रोवाइड करूंगा वो लास्ट डिक्टेशन होगी एंड ये डिक्टेशन में 70 to 75 वर्ड्स पर मिनट में डिक्टेट करूंगा एंड दिस इज बेसिकली मेंट फॉर द जूनियर सिविल स्टेनोग्राफर पोस्ट। जो पहले डिक्टेशंस जो थे वो हमने स्टेनोटाइप के लिए डाल दी थी। सो बी रेडी फॉर द अनदर डिक्टेशन। इस डिक्टेशन में भी बहुत सारे लीगल वर्ड्स का इस्तेमाल किया गया है, तो अगर आपको ये दिखने में प्रॉब्लम आ रही है डिक्टेशंस पीडीएफ फाइल, सो इन डिक्टेशंस का पीडीएफ फॉर्मेट आपको ग्रुप में मिल जाएगा, जो हमारा टेलीग्राम ग्रुप है शॉर्ट एंड प्रो के नाम से और स्टेनो क्रैक के नाम से। सो वहां से आप इनको कलेक्ट करके फिर अपनी डिक्टेशंस खुद चेक कर लेना। ओके, गेट योरसेल्फ रेडी फॉर द another dictation. The dictation will start after 5 seconds. Start. During the course of arguments, the state contended that a similar issue involving the same parties had already been adjudicated upon in a previous writ petition, and therefore, the present matter was barred by the doctrine of res judicata. Stop. According to the state, the earlier decision conclusively settled the matter, preventing its reopening. Stop. However, the court, after a detailed examination of the earlier judgment and the pleadings involved, held that the issues raised in the present case were sufficiently distinct and did not constitute the same cause of action. Stop. The court clarified that res judicata would not apply when new facts, different legal grounds, or independent rights are raised in subsequent proceedings. Stop. Moreover, since a connected matter was already sub judice before another bench of the High Court, the court found it prudent to hear both cases jointly to ensure judicial consistency and avoid the risk of contradictory rulings. Stop. Upon prima facie consideration of the pleadings and documents submitted, the bench found substantial merit in the petitioner's allegations of illegal detention. Stop. As a result, the court directed the state to file a comprehensive stats report detailing the circumstances of the detention and the legal authority under which it was carried out. Stop. One of the state's preliminary objections was filed in limine, seeking outright dismissal of the writ petition without a detailed hearing. Stop. However, the court rejected this contention, noting that cases involving alleged violations of fundamental rights cannot be dismissed summarily and must be adjudicated on their merits. Stop. It was also noted that certain directions in the earlier proceedings had been issued ex parte, as the petitioner was not served with proper notes, thereby being denied the opportunity to be heard. Stop. The bench observed that any ex parte order, particularly those affecting personal liberty, must be revisited in the interests of due process. Stop. In its detailed order, the court, inter alia, pointed to systemic lapses in custodial handling and recommended urgent administrative reforms. Stop. While the ratio decidendum of the judgment focused on the illegality of the detention and breach of public duty, the court also made obiter dicta remarks emphasizing the broader need for accountability in law enforcement. Stop. Ultimately, the High Court's intervention reaffirmed the judiciary's crucial role in safeguarding constitutional rights and upholding the rule of law. Stop. End of dictation. उम्मीद करता हूँ आप सबको डिक्टेशन अच्छी लगी होगी. एनी सजेशन फॉर द डिक्टेशंस? किसी को मेरी आवाज से कोई प्रॉब्लम आ रही है या डिक्टेशन में कोई मसला आ रहा है, कोई वर्ड समझ नहीं आ रहा है, तो वो भी बता सकता है कमेंट्स में. किसी को कोई वर्ड समझ नहीं आया तो वो बता सकता है अभी. या अगर आप कुछ पूछना चाहते हो तो आप पूछ सकते हो. हमारे इस क्लास के रिलेटेड अगर आपको किसी को कोई सवाल होगा वो पूछ सकता है, और कोई और कुछ भी पूछना होगा किसी एग्जाम के रिलेटेड, जो हमारा एग्जाम होने वाला है, हाई कोर्ट जो कंडक्ट करने वाला है उसके रिलेटेड किसी को कुछ पूछना होगा तो मैं भी उसका जवाब दे सकता हूँ. ठीक है, चाहे टाइमिंग भी चेंज करेंगे. फिलहाल आज ये डेमो ट्रायल था, हम लाइव करने के लिए आज पहली बार आए थे, तो अकॉर्डिंगली हम टाइम भी चेंज करेंगे. अभी मैं आप सबके सवालों को जवाब देने के लिए तैयार हूं. किसी को कुछ पूछना होगा तो बता सकता है. तो मिलते हैं अगली वीडियो में. तब तक के लिए टेक गुड केयर ऑफ योरसेल्फ एंड आई विश यू ऑल द वेरी बेस्ट फॉर योर फ्यूचर. कीप प्रैक्टिसिंग हार्ड, तो success will automatically fall into your grounds. All the very best for your future. Thank you so much for joining the live session.